All right, everybody, what's up? Will here from Flow Candy. Today I'm breaking down Update. So this is a new brand, or really a reimagined brand, I guess would be the right word, a relaunch brand from Kim Kardashian. Um, it's an energy drink, and this is one that's going to be interesting for a couple reasons. First off, like there's not much to break down. This is newly launched. There's not much of a funnel here, and I'll get into that in a second. Also, it's not really like a new brand; it's a rebrand with Kim Kardashian. We've broken down a lot of the Kardashian brands. I've broken down, obviously Skims. This is a $1 billion brand that Kim is involved in. We've broken down some of Chloe's brands. We've broken down Kylie Jenner's brands. So this is the first one I've broken down where it's like they didn't necessarily launch it necessarily. It's more of a rebrand. So I'm gonna get into that. Also, it's an interesting category, and I want to talk about that as well. So why don't we start off at the top here? So a little bit of history. I got some notes here. So first off, let's just talk about the USP around Update. So this is an energy drink that doesn't use caffeine. The real differentiator here, besides obviously Kim being involved in the brand and all of the momentum she brings, is this ingredient right here, paraxanthine. Paraxanthine. I think I pronounced it right. And again, this was founded by this guy named Daniel Solomon. And let's see if we can. I thought I had a picture of him. This guy right here, and he is a former banker, and I think had some backing from the Hess family was another thing, but you could see a background in banking. Started this in June 2022. So this is actually a 40-year-old brand, but was really rebuilt over the past, really, I guess it relaunched in the past month, but it was really kind of live for 4 years and then rebranded with Kim's help. And you can kind of look at let me see if I can find drink update before Kim Kardashian. So I think the founder, Daniel, is on record as saying it was a little bit more tech bro-ish would be it. So that's basically what it looked like before. Kim comes on and makes it like much more softer, much more feminine focus. I'm going to get into why and how this is not just like another Kardashian just sort of respin. Like there's some actual real data behind this, and it makes a lot of sense. But again, so it was sort of rebranded, and Kim was seen drinking this drink. Okay, so people saw her, featured on her show, dating back like as early as I think 2023, 2024. She was actually drinking this drink, and it was sort of muted out on the show or blocked out, I think. So she was actually already using this product, okay, and then got involved in the repackaging of it. And so it's featured in the show. And I want to talk about, before I dive into like the funnel, the breakdown, what they're doing right now, the marketing, I want to talk about why this makes sense, okay, from my perspective. So if you go back like a couple years ago, I've been doing these breakdowns, and we broke down a brand called Celsius, which I'm sure many of you probably heard of. This is one of the fastest growing energy drink companies in the world. I mean, I'm pretty sure in this category they rank number 3, and they grew so fast. They are a publicly traded company. Like you can go and look at Celsius. Celsius Holdings here, and their stock has been up and down, but they really peaked during COVID. But this is a company that is doing, $2.5 billion in sales. You can't deny the sales here. I mean, they've doubled their sales from almost doubled their sales. Yeah, doubled their sales from 2024 over 2025. And when you think of, I think as of today, they are positioned number 3 in this category. And when you think of this category, you think, okay, you have obviously Red Bull at the top, which is sort of kind of this, more around athletes, performance. When you think of the Red Bull athletes like doing these crazy stunts, you have Monster Energy, which is more punk rock, this other sort of segment. And Monster Energy was also sort of one of the inspirations for Liquid Death. So there's clear markets there. There's this market in this extreme sports. There's market in this sort of like punk rock scene. And those are great markets, but they're very, very male dominated. Okay. And what Celsius did that was different was they came in and they positioned this more as like a gym drink. Okay. So that's why I can go into my local gym, for example, and I'll see Celsius. I don't see Red Bull. I don't see Monster. I see Celsius, and it's right next to like the protein drinks. And if you go into the, like my local stores here, I'm based in Atlanta, like Kroger or Publix or some of these grocery stores, a lot of times you will see Celsius in the pharmacy aisles next to protein. Okay. So they took that sort of stance in the category. And what ended up happening, and you can go and vet this, guys, like me and my partner, Brian, we went through Celsius because it's a publicly traded company. We were able to access their investor relations documents and read their quarterly statements, their annual reports. And they stated very clearly their the customer demographic for Celsius skews female. It's like, I think it's close, but it's like 55% female, 45% male. Okay, so this totally blew open the energy drink segment. When you think about it, because it's been traditionally such a male dominated category with incumbents like Red Bull and Monster. And so there's real data to justify. I bring this all back to why there's real data to justify Kim Kardashian moving into the energy space, just because this category is now totally wide open with more and more females getting into this space. Also, you have to remember a year ago, Kim did a sort of a co-branded partnership with Alani. Okay, so the Kim-Aid Alani. All right, this was an energy drink that she partnered with on this brand. It did pretty well. And guess who bought Alani? Celsius. All right, so it just goes to show that I think a lot of people kind of give the Kardashians a bad rap, but there's some real strategic thinking in their business strategy here. Certainly with Skims, like when we broke down Skims, like, it's not just Kim behind that brand. There was some real strategical thought. They have a really good marketing plan, marketing strategy, and tactically execute on that. I've long been a big, big fan of Skims. Not only in their strategic positioning, but how they tactically execute their marketing. And it just goes to show this isn't just like Kim Kardashian putting her face behind a brand. There's real data to justify going into this market, whether it's Celsius sort of expanding into this, and also just the fact that they have real data of Kim actually doing a joint venture with Alani, who was then acquired by Celsius, and seeing success here. So it's smart. It makes sense. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that first. But as we move into the actual brand itself, 1 second, my battery is about to die. Let's jump into some of that. So another thing that's really, really interesting with this, again, because it's more of a rebrand, But what's interesting is it wasn't really a D2C first launch. Like what they did really with this is it's a pure joint venture with Walmart, which I found very interesting. So I've been, it's very, very new here, but you can see, um, it's off to like a good start. When you look at their launch, you can see there's pictures of Kim and her. Well, I had it. I don't know where I had it. There's pictures of Kim and Daniel joint launching with Walmart, and they rolled out to like 4,000 stores. And let's see, it's pretty. I want to see like what their paid or their retail media strategy is like if they're really doing sponsored. Let's see, we're not so much. So they're not totally ranking here yet. Here we go. This is interesting. And this new arrival, I'm wondering if this is paid retail media, and if it's because they give a joint venture, like maybe Walmart is more incentivized to put this up here. I'm surprised it's not further up. As you can see, they're organically ranking here on Walmart. And just so you know, when I'm looking at this retail media play, let's see if they're energy, if they're even on Amazon. So they're not even on Amazon. So they're purely doing a JV, joint venture with Walmart, which I find interesting. Also, though, but when you look at the on-site, so when you go on site, there's not much going on here. So when I look at their traffic, we're talking about 25,000 visitors a month. I think I've got them at around there. So it's definitely picked up. It's almost 5x'd since Kim came involved, but it's not crazy traffic. Like when you think about the Kardashian effect, like Skims doing, I want to say like 10 million visitors a month. Last time I checked, it's probably 20 now, because I haven't looked in a couple quarters, but it's not that crazy amount of traffic just yet. So they got a long runway here, only doing 25K. What's interesting though is they're not, while they're doing this JV with Walmart, there's not they still send in, it's still a Shopify D2C play. Like they are, here's, you go through the checkout, you go to the cart. There's nothing crazy here. A little bit of a upsell, cross sell, and then you go into a Shopify one-page checkout. I've confirmed that they're using Shopify obviously for this. Email marketing is through Klaviyo. Let's see if I can find an example of that. Thought I had that pulled up. And the emails look very, very clean email. So I'm wondering if the Kardashian team just sort of came in here. We got nothing crazy, a little hero block here, hero. So very like minimal, clearly designed email. It reminds me of Skims email design system. This is through Klaviyo. The reviews are managed through Okendo. So they're using that. And I think that they're doing some SMS marketing opted into that. And my guess is I think it's Klaviyo. It's not Attentive, which is interesting because it's long been rumored that Attentive has some sort of dirt on the Kardashians because all of their brands are using Attentive, but maybe they just got a good deal or something. So that's a little bit about just the tech stack. And it's very clean, very simple. but it's clearly designed to basically sell on Walmart because that's like the joint venture. Let's see if I just type in update if there's any like retail media play here. Not much. You would think they would have like some sort of sponsored ads. See Energy. So that's a little bit about them. So where do they go from here? Okay, so obviously they'll probably, they'll want to keep growing D2C sales. I imagine they'll want to keep growing. They'll have this partnership with Walmart, and it remains to be seen. Okay, eventually, do they roll out to other places like other retail channels? Amazon being one, Target. Also, like, what do they do in terms of launching new SKUs? Like when you look at Celsius or Liquid Death, who's now in the energy space, Celsius, they're doing a lot. There's the packets of energy that they're launching. There's new flavors. So I think that there's some runway here for this brand to grow. It'll be interesting. As you can see, they got on the go. Hydration is another huge niche that a lot of these energy consumer packaged brands are getting into. So it'll be interesting to see where they go. I think there's a lot of runway here for this brand to grow. They're not even really doing much email marketing or D2C marketing. So there's a whole thing. There's a whole sort of the business that can be built out there. And there's a clear market. Like I said, I think that's the biggest thing you're looking for. Clear market, kind of coming back to what I was talking about with Celsius and how actually it's a lot of people don't realize, but it skews more female. So we'll see what it holds. Thanks again for watching this breakdown. It'll be fascinating to see how it grows out. Hopefully one day it grows out and I can do more of an email breakdown or more of a comprehensive funnel breakdown as their traffic grows. But thanks again for watching this one, and stay tuned for the next one. We got some exciting new brands coming up as we move into Q2 here in 2026. So I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.